Hello guys, welcome to my Xbox predictions video. I promised it and I will be doing it now. I'm sorry if I sound a little bit off because I'm quite sick the past few days and I had a high fever. That's also why I did not upload yesterday and I'm still sick. So I'm sorry if I speak a little bit slower, but I did the voice lines for the video already before I was sick, so that should sound a lot better. Like I did in my PlayStation predictions video, we're going to start first with first party. I'm going to try to predict what will show up at the showcase. Then I'm going over third party, second party and indie stuff. This list is going to be a little bit shorter because my knowledge of the Xbox platform as a whole and the community and the rumors is not that big with me. I do still have, I think, enough knowledge to make a proper prediction video for you guys. So sit back, relax, enjoy, take a beverage, and let's get on with these predictions. The biggest elephant in the room that we will absolutely see with the Xbox show is Starfield. Now, Starfield will have its own Xbox Direct after the main showcase, but it basically counts as one thing because Starfield will be the biggest launch for Xbox this year. And it's not really a secret that it will show up here, but it's the biggest game and it's probably my most hyped game now for the rest of this year, next to Final Fantasy 16. If Persona 3 Remake can maybe show up, which I will talk about later in this video. Starfield is going to dominate this showcase with an extra long look at it after the main showcase. So look forward to that, that's going to be very cool. To stay on the Bethesda Game Studios topic, I also think Skyrim and Fallout 4 will come with a modding marketplace as an announcement for this showcase. The reason for that is that Skyrim has seen a lot, and I mean a lot of updates in the past few months on Steam in the background. A ton of updates for a pretty old game at this point. So I do think something is happening like a Skyrim modding place. We know that Todd Howard did talk with Lex Friedman on the podcast that he does about making modding more important to the Bethesda Game Studios community. And I think Todd Howard wants to have a bigger modding marketplace. Something a la Minecraft, to have its own marketplace that people can download mods. And maybe this will make the return for paid modding. Now, I am not really against paid modding myself, but we do expect some sort of quality bar now if they're going to release mods that are paid. Usually we don't really look at the quality when it's free, but when it's going to be a paid project, I do hope that these mods are a little bit of a higher quality and that they have some official support from Bethesda, maybe to make these installs much easier, because if you're going to install mods on the Nexus, as an example, sometimes can get a bit difficult, especially when it comes to EMBs or graphical mods. If this is true and there is indeed paid modding coming for Skyrim and Fallout 4, they are probably also going to do this for Starfield. I can tell you that it's at least from a bigger quality than we are used to with mods. Now, one game that I do especially expect here is Hellblade 2. It's time that we see it and we need to get a release date for this game now. We have seen the gameplay stuff 2 years now ago, 3 years ago almost at this point, and it's highly time for this game to release, maybe even this year, somewhere in November-ish or October if it can get that slot. That would be pretty close to Starfield. But I do think Xbox really wants to swing now with some exclusives, and it's time for that, to be honest. As a Xbox fan, I've been waiting for these big first party releases, and now Hellblade 2 will start with that together with Starfield. So there's a big chance we will see Hellblade 2 with a release date and maybe some more gameplay. Another game that I expect to see at this point is Avowed, which is probably my most second anticipating game from this showcase next to Starfield. I'm a big RPG fan and I'm a very big Elder Scrolls fan. And when I saw that Obsidian is basically going to make their own Elder Scrolls game in the Pillars of Eternity universe, I was absolutely excited. at the possibilities that could happen. Obsidian is one of the best studios out there now in the industry, and these guys just need a bigger budget to get a full big game out there that will get the mainstream intact with their studio. And I do highly believe that Avowed will be that game, like an Elder Scrolls or like a Fallout, and it's going to be this open world first person RPG like an Elder Scrolls, probably more with some Obsidian traits, with a little bit more of good and evil consequences, stuff like that that you usually have in Obsidian games. That will probably be there, but I do hope they take a look at exploration and maybe take some notes from Bethesda, because Bethesda is still the best in class when it comes to RPG exploration in my opinion. So I hope Avowed can match something like an Elder Scrolls. I wouldn't be surprised if we see maybe a release date for that game, now that it's going to be probably early 2024 for that game. So we will definitely probably see gameplay of that as well. Another game that we will definitely see is Forza Motorsport. Last time we saw the game was actually at the last Xbox Direct, which was now in January, some time ago. And back then we did not receive any release date towards it because it got a small delay. But the game will release now probably in the fall, maybe in October. And then that slot for November will be for Hellblade 2. So Xbox might do a 1, 2, 3 punch with Starfield first, then Forza Motorsport in October, and then Hellblade 2 in November. And this game will definitely now get a release date here with new gameplay to boot, and maybe some sort of beta announcement that would be very cool for the Xbox community. Now, I'm not really the biggest racing fan, but this is a big game, so I thought I would put it here on this predictions list. Now, this is a pretty tricky one, Fable. And the reason why I believe Fable might show up here at the showcase is because of some of the teasing that Xbox has been doing. Very interesting. They posted this video with glitter, which is reminiscent of the glitter pattern that you follow in the original games, with Fable music. So that's kind of weird, I'm not going to lie. And then Xbox basically said, no, we are not teasing Fable. But to be fair, I find it still very weird, this whole video. And I wouldn't be surprised if we did see Fable as some sort of in-engine update. Don't expect this to release anytime soon, though. I think this game will be more like end of 2024 title. But I hope we get at least some sort of update towards it. Now, this is a little bit of a reach as well, but Wolfenstein 3. The weird thing about this is that Machine Games has already teased a new Wolfenstein game just like years ago, and we never saw anything about it. And I know Machine Games is now still working on a Indiana Jones game, but I have a feeling that that Indiana Jones game is actually a little bit further off, and it was supposed to be a announcement to basically hire probably new people. And I do still think there is a Wolfenstein game going to be before that. Now, I could totally be wrong about that. It's just more of a gut feeling I have. And what has Machine Games been doing all these years since Wolfenstein 2? I do think it's time for a new Wolfenstein, or at least something towards Indiana Jones. Another studio that has been in the rumor mill is the studio behind We Happy Few, Compulsion. And they have been working on a new game as well. I think I even made a video about that some time ago. And it's supposed to be a single player story narrative driven third person game from what I know. It's supposed to be a fantasy, dark fantasy setting with a female protagonist from what I've seen so far. There has been some concept art on the internet about it. So I can definitely see that getting revealed with some CGI trailer. Recently, Compulsion has been trying to hire someone for the marketing team. So I wouldn't be surprised if they are gearing up for some sort of announcement. Why do you need a marketing lead if there is still no game to be released? Kind of weird, right? Another studio with a lot of rumors behind it is Zenimax. They are the developers and studio behind Elder Scrolls Online, and there have been a lot of rumors that they have been working on a new MMO kind of game, or at least a new RPG, and it is supposed to have some sort of sci-fi setting. So people have been speculating maybe it's the MMO component for Starfield in the Starfield universe, or maybe it's a MMO component for a Star Wars game. It could be either one of them, or maybe it's a totally new sci-fi IP, but it has been believed so far in the rumor mill that it might be a sci-fi game. Then another studio that Xbox has acquired that is in the rumor mill heavily is InXille. And this is a studio that we have to keep an eye on, because these guys have made the wonderful Wasteland 3, a very good RPG, but now they are getting a bigger budget as well, just like Obsidian, and there have been rumors going around that it might be a steampunk RPG of some sort. That would be very cool if that's the case. I am excited anyways if they are going to make a big budget RPG. I really want to see what InXille is working on. It might be a bit early for them though, because Wasteland 3 wasn't that long ago, but I hope they show up with maybe some sort of teaser trailer. That would be very nice. And then another thing that might happen is a new Gears of War game, Gears of War 6. I do think the coalition is maybe ready to at least give us some sort of teaser trailer for it. I don't think we will have any gameplay whatsoever, because this is probably more a game for 2024 or 2025. But I do think we can get some sort of teaser at least to what they are working on, if it's indeed a new Gears of War game, Gears 6. I can absolutely see that happen, and especially because they are working now on Unreal 5 and that engine is pretty good. So let's see what comes out of this. Now, those were all the first party games. Let's talk about third party, second party and indie games. Now let's talk about some third party games. Contraband is a game that has been announced a long time ago now, some years ago, and we only got a small teaser trailer, and I do think it's time for some gameplay for that game. It's going to be a Xbox exclusive from what I know, made by the guys at Avalanche. It's going to be, I think, a multiplayer game. I'm not too familiar with the Contraband IP, so sorry for my knowledge, but that's definitely a game I can see at the showcase. Then the big rumored third-party game that probably will show up at the Xbox showcase is Persona 3 Remake. We know that Xbox has been forging a good relationship with Atlus behind the scenes, especially just with Sega as a whole, and I do believe they want to make a statement with a big JRPG getting announced at the Xbox showcase. I made countless videos on it already, and there have been insiders saying that yes, it will happen and it will probably be revealed at the Xbox showcase. Now, I do only expect Persona 3 Remake and not Persona 6 already. That would be very awesome if Persona 6 would also be there with like a teaser, but I don't think that will happen. And for all the PlayStation fans out there, don't worry, this is not going to be an Xbox exclusive, but Xbox might get the marketing rights towards the game and maybe even have some sort of Game Pass deal for it. But I do think it's just marketing rights for now, and that they might have the announcement for the game. And there's also supposed to be another Persona game, Persona 5T. The domain has been up for that as well, so we might even see at this showcase not just Persona 3 Remake, but also this Persona 5 spin-off game. Maybe it's a Persona 5 Tactics game. That would be very cool, but we shall see. Now, I am pretty sure about Persona 3 Remake, but I'm going to stoke the fire a little bit more with Sega. I think we might see this new Jet Set Radio as well, which was leaked alongside Persona 3 Remake. If you guys remembered my video I made about that. And we know it's in development right now as well. And the previous Jet Set Radio, which was long ago, Jet Set Radio Future, was in fact a Xbox exclusive. So I wouldn't be surprised if Xbox actually went out the way to get this Jet Set Radio exclusive yet again towards the Xbox platform, or at least if they can't get any exclusivity rights, maybe to have some marketing rights with it. But I wouldn't be surprised if Jet Set Radio also shows up at this showcase. Another game that I can see happen is a teaser towards the new Metro game. We know the last Metro game was also revealed at the Xbox platform, even though it's not a exclusive by any means. Usually, most of the time, Xbox does have the marketing rights towards the Metro series. So I wouldn't be surprised if the Metro devs come out at the Xbox showcase with a teaser for the new game they have been working on. So it would be maybe a new Metro game, but it could also be a new IP according to some rumors. So that could be very interesting as well. And then a obvious one is also S.T.A.L.K.E.R 2. They have been doing a lot of stuff with Xbox. The game is still supposed to come out this year, even though with the whole Ukraine war stuff like that, I thought this would maybe even get pushed further away. But the devs at least have been saying that the game will come out at the end of this year. That would be very cool if we would see Starfield, S.T.A.L.K.E.R, Forza Motorsport and Hellblade 2 all in the fall. That would be crazy to be honest. But we have seen a lot of leaks towards S.T.A.L.K.E.R 2. The dev build has been leaked online. So I hope they have been ready for a good announcement, like a release date. That will be very nice. Let's hope we see more for S.T.A.L.K.E.R 2. And then the last game that I want to talk about is Replaced, which is a very cool indie game that Xbox is supporting. And it looks awesome. It's this pixel art cyberpunk game. And it had all its showings at Xbox showcases. So I wouldn't be surprised if we will see now a new update for that game with maybe hopefully a release date this year that we can play Replaced as well. It looks very cool, one of my more anticipated indie games next to Bomb Rush Cyberpunk. If you guys know that game, which is a Jet Set Radio successor, this one is probably my most second or third favorite indie game that I'm looking forward to. Now, I quickly want to go over the things that we won't see at this showcase, just like I did with the PlayStation Showcase predictions video. There are 4 games in particular that I don't think, at least I think that they won't show up. The first one is Overdose, which is supposed to be Kojima's next game. And the only reason why I say that it won't be here is because of Death Stranding 2. Because I do think Death Stranding 2 has priority now for that studio to release. And then they will focus all their attention on the new Overdose game that they're probably doing with Xbox. It is supposed to be this cloud streaming type of game. I don't know how to feel about that because I'm not really the biggest video game player for cloud streaming, but we shall see. I love Kojima, maybe he makes something very cool of this game. Another game that will definitely not happen is Perfect Dark for the showcase. The last time I spoke about Perfect Dark was at the beginning of my channel, and I talked about how that game was in development hell, and a lot of people from Crystal Dynamics were helping with this project. So I don't think it's really ready to show off with anything of gameplay. That would be really cool if it did, but I don't think so. Another game that we won't see is Avowed. That game has been rebooted. Now, I recently saw and heard Jez Corden talking about Avowed and how rebooting can be kind of not as drastically as people think, and that a lot of assets are still there. So maybe there is a chance we see Avowed, but I'm not very certain of that, and I'm very skeptical to be honest of that. So would be cool, but I don't think so. And then, of course, a game that we won't see, which I'm very sad about, is Elder Scrolls 6. I mean, it's obvious. Bethesda wants us to focus on Starfield, so we won't see any Elder Scrolls 6 anytime soon. That's so sad. I'm going to cry a little bit more in the corner of my room because I've been waiting for a new Elder Scrolls game for more than a decade at this point. I think it's like 13 years or something, and I get to wait even longer now until that game is coming out. So yeah, I'm quite sad, but oh well. So those were all my predictions for the Xbox showcase. Maybe we will see Fable, after such a long time. And maybe that new game from InXille, that would be very awesome. Just RPGs in general, I would love to see that. And Xbox is basically now the perfect platform to have a lot of Western big RPGs that we can see. Let me know in the comment section down below what do you guys think of the video. Thanks again for watching, and I know I am a bit sick, so I'm not really that hyped. Sorry for that. Thank you that you stick with me here. I'm going to just leave it short for today because I want to go to bed and edit this video. Thank you guys for watching. As always, like this video if you liked it. Subscribe to the channel if you want to see more gaming news, rumors and leaks. I do those a ton, especially on Xbox, PlayStation as well, and Nintendo. And of course, don't forget to check my social media in the description down below. And I will see you guys in the next Get Rekt gaming news video. Bye bye.